Good day everyone, so let's do a Kokomi main DPS fun run, and emphasis really is on the fun. So let's see if we can clear both sides of every single chamber in floor 12 under 3 minutes each, and hopefully that'll then give us a pass on the 9-star clear. Obviously this is a fun run, so some aspects of the run is like a bit manipulated, but hopefully you can enjoy it. And you can see here right off the bat, Kokomi is moving really fast, and that is because Kokomi C4, Jean C2 and Yunjin C6 all provide attack speed, which is really awesome. And here's Xingshu obviously providing that essential hydro service of being a good battery. You can see a Kokomi is already online, Jean's picked up the particle, and now we can again stack attack speed and slap these wolves. Now, one thing to notice, if you've got a C6 Kokomi lying around and you want to sort of do this, just take care to sort of always group up enemies. This is the big problem. Unless you're going to freeze these enemies or somehow keep them clustered, let's say via Zhongli or whatever, then it is quite difficult for you to get the maximum amount of damage. You want to attack as much as possible whilst everyone's grouped up, like simultaneously. But yeah, otherwise you can just do things like this, just stagger them with Jean. You can just like absolutely go crazy. And note the time is 8:49 and now it is 8:49 again. So this is the one thing a lot of people have said, you know, in order for a team to be valid for 9-star clear, they must clear collectively on both sides within the sort of 3-minute limit. I think that's quite silly, because if you swap teams around, your first team might even clear the first chamber faster. But I know for the sake of fairness and transparency, we'll obviously adjust the clock accordingly. Even if we can give ourselves like a bit of a handicap, I think most people would be fine with that. Now, against these little Vishaps, they are really irritating, and this is where I appreciate Yae Miko. The fluidity of Yae Miko, once you have like played her against these Vishaps a lot, it's just like something, once you go Yae, you can't go back. It's something you can see with stamina, because we have to actively dodge, we have to do all sorts of things. You can see the value that Yae Miko will provide in a situation like this is just absolutely insane. I know a lot of people are going to disagree, but that is, for me, it's just very apparent. And the other thing is because you've got that additional stamina and you can now freely sort of attack the enemies while spacing out of their attacks, you're doing like more and more DPS, which is really awesome. By the way, if you do intend to do this with this team, I'm obviously manipulating the clock here, so I want to get exactly 7 minutes on the clock because it's quite funny. But typically at about 8:20 or 8:15, this is more or less where you can aim for this team if you play perfectly. And if you don't play perfectly, then you can get what I'm getting. It's pretty fun. So obviously the big part of any sort of Spiral Abyss clear is having enough of energy left for the second halves. And that's exactly sort of almost like the strategy here. So it's not the fastest clear, you can definitely do it faster, but there you go. 3-star clear on the first floor in the bank. Now, this is probably the easiest chamber. You've just got 2 big rune guards here. And all we're going to do is we're just going to follow the recipe, battery up our Kokomi, and then we're going to go to Jean, trigger the swirl, go to Yunjin, and then just stack all that attack speed. By the way, if you're wondering how I'm doing the elemental burst so fast, there's basically a trick on PC where if you press the Alt key and the switch key to or the Alt, it's like Alt and switch, then your next character, if they've got like their elemental burst available, will instantly cast their elemental burst the moment they switch. So there's no like frames in between. I know a lot of people on PlayStation and so on typically complain about it because they have to switch and then press their elemental burst, and sometimes, especially if you're like playing really fast, that can mess you up if the enemies hit you. Oh yeah, by the way, just a little fun detour. If you're ever wondering how I hit the Golden Wolf Lord, you just climb on Zhongli's pillars, and once you're up here, you can still cast your abilities and just absolutely smack him. So yeah, that's just a little neat trick. By the way, it doesn't always really work out because he can also be out of range. But I just thought this might be interesting to share for those of you that want to know. And yes, this is the rare opportunity you're seeing me play Bennett. That's because I was too lazy to get my other healers and build them. Alright, so now us against the Wolf Lord with the Kokomi team. So what's going to happen? What are we going to do? How is this team possibly going to hit the Wolf Lord while he's up in the air? Why are we wasting all our elemental burst? Well, That's because Kokomi's got the best auto attacks in the game, because they can literally just hone in on the enemy. You can see her, it doesn't matter where, and she synergizes so well with Xingqiu. It doesn't matter, as long as her fish can hit the target, Xingqiu's attacks will also start like hitting the target, going in that direction. Absolutely amazing. And here is where Yunjin needs to absolutely shine for us. Help us break these pillars very quickly. So yeah, this is going to be a bit boring because we've got like 3 of these little rocky pillars to go through. But the one thing that I must say that's like so fun with Kokomi, because she's not like a lot of the other healers in which you need to use your elemental burst to heal, being able to survive corrosion is actually a lot easier with her, especially against like a sort of boss like this. You really start appreciating it when you've got like I said like earlier, when you've got your Bennett and his elemental burst is not online. It's like, oh my god, well, the team is now bleeding with corrosion, whereas with Kokomi you can just pop the jellyfish and then cycle between your team members to sort of break the shields, which is really nice. Yeah, so the little wolf is down here, and we're just going to rinse repeat. So there's nothing special, no clock manipulation here. We're just going to try and sort of take him out as quickly as we can, get the attack speed buff, and now we're just going to shred. And yeah, that's what Kokomi does best. Kokomi Xingqiu, obviously attacking him, and he should be done very quickly. Of course, we need to be mindful to have enough elemental like burst energy ready for the final floor. Because like not having your burst ready can literally be like the difference between getting that full like freestyle clear and not getting it. But here you can see Kokomi, even if a normal attacks, doesn't matter what the enemy does, we can hone in on him, and that's about it. Alright, so now we've got the little, what do you call it, ruin guards, I don't know what I call ruin scouts, sentinels, whatever, snakes. They're pretty easy, there's nothing spectacular here. You just repeat the combo and then you just sort of attack them, and that's pretty much going to be a 2 cycle because we've got 3 of them and we can't really hit them in an AoE, but obviously the Ocean Clamp said can't, but there's a bit of resistance, so yeah, it does sort of balance it out. In any case, this will be over quickly, but just to sort of show you, the most important thing is obviously what's going to be the clock, because the final floor is a bit difficult and you will see it very shortly. So obviously Kokomi spamming 9, yeah, this is just me messing around. So about 9:17 we'll sort of keep that on the clock, and let's just see that I make a mistake. Nope, I first got the shield, and there we go, 9:17. That should be more or less fine. I don't think anyone will have an objection with that one little second. In any case, so against Big Brother and Sister, I'm going to get so much hate comment for that. So here's against Big Bro and Big Sis, so we're just going to sort of tackle them with Kokomi. We're just going to quickly battery ourselves up. There we go. Repeat the combo, and let's start smacking them. So this is where you, again, if you just had Yai Miko here, it's just so nice to be able to just phase out of their attacks and so on. And of course Kokomi being able to attack them from a decent range. I'm just going to sort of do this. And yeah, now we're just sort of in the building phase, the downtime, getting all those elemental bursts ready. So we've got Xingqiu, we've got Kokomi ready, get the attack speed buff with Jean, wait for the enemy to waste his attack so we can attack him like uninterrupted, and there we go. And this is the thing a lot of people don't talk about. Sometimes it pays you to not immediately just waste all of your elemental burst, and that's because of the enemy's AI and what they'll do. So here you can see we had a pretty much uninterrupted sequence with Kokomi. Of course, the beautiful thing about Jean's elemental burst is that she can help cleanse any of the afflictions that we do get from these enemies, and boy oh boy do these enemies give us afflictions. You can see a little cryo definitely slows us down, and that's really not as nice. And there we go. I think Electro reduces our resistance. I'm not entirely sure. I have to quickly look that up again. But yeah, you can see we're just sort of being attacked, and it doesn't matter. And I hope you guys have seen this, like whilst we did the runs. It doesn't matter how hard the enemy attacks us. It doesn't matter if they can one-shot a character ordinarily. With Kokomi, dying and HP management is pretty much almost like a guarantee. It's the one thing you don't need to worry about, the automatic management of your resources, of your HP, yeah. And that's the other thing, that if you combine Kokomi that does automatic HP management with someone like Yai that helps you better manage your stamina, well, it's a pretty fun combo. And speaking of fun combos, we are now ready to unleash our final combo, take out the bosses, and there we go. Let's just hit them before they run away. Oh, they ran away, doesn't matter. Look at our fish, it absolutely hones in on the enemy. And yeah, absolutely manipulated the clock all the way to 7 minutes on the dot. I actually had to repeat this because I kept getting slightly over and under, but there you go guys. Full 9-star clears. Thank you for watching, hope you found it interesting and you've enjoyed the run. Cheers.